The Wrestlepalooza is in the books. What did you think? Comment below and let me know. Welcome to Assemble. My name is Matt. We're going to give you a full kind of instant reaction review of this thing. The show really kicked off with Triple H. You had a video package, the connection history of ESPN and WWF, WWE all through the years. Triple H announcing everybody, it's time to play the game, basically. Pat McAfee makes a return. It was funny because even in that intro, you could see Triple H running from behind and like trying to catch up to Pat as Pat was gonna go to the ring. So we got Pat McAfee on commentary. Before the first match, because you're gonna unpack that Brock Cena match. Oh yes, we are. Number one, if you guys can hit the like button because it does help us a lot, and hit subscribe because we are trying to grow this now to 50,000 subscribers or to 100. It would mean a lot if you did and you enjoy the show here. We cover the goods and we cover the bads as well. Before we get into the Brock Cena match, my first thought was this felt like they were trying to position it like they did the Raw Netflix debut. Very much all Netflix. This was very much all ESPN. This was all about ESPN. This was all about the stars. This was all about the basketball players. This was all about Pat McAfee. This was Michael Cole's journey with ESPN. It was a lot of glad handing. It was a lot of schmoozing. It was very heavy-handed. You had Jey Uso's entrance that was like, let's show ESPN what we're all about. I get it. It was a lot of that. And that the overall impression I got from the show, the way it was advertised for people by Triple H, and it's just marketing and it is what it is, but the whole thing of like, it's going to be an epic, massive show that's going to rival SummerSlam, I wouldn't exactly say that, but that's just me. We all want to watch WWE the easiest way possible. No complicated subscriptions, multiple apps to get, or paying massive fees. That's why I'm so excited to partner with PIA. But what is a VPN, you ask? A virtual private network hides your IP address, but also maintains your internet connection is safeguarded through an encrypted tunnel. For example, a hacker that uses the same Wi-Fi network as you would have the ability to steal your personal data from your computer or smartphone, like your passwords, your keystrokes, even photos that you have saved. PIA is the world's most transparent VPN provider. With over 30 million downloads, they never record or store your data. PIA is also available for all platforms, so when you want to watch WWE on Netflix, for example, you can easily access it via Windows, macOS, Android, iOS in all your devices, all through one subscription. The biggest win from PIA is watching Wrestlepalooza and every other premium live event from WWE through the service. If you're in the US, ESPN's new app will cost $30 per month, on top of having Netflix. Using PIA, you can easily switch to Canada or Europe-based Netflix, and you'll never have a problem watching WWE again. It's the best decision you can make to get all your WWE content in one place. Click my link in the description and pinned comment, or scan the QR code and grab an 83% discount on PIA. That's just $2.03 a month, and you'll also get 4 extra months completely free. So if you sign up today, you're gonna save a ton when wanting to watch WWE PLEs every single month. Thank you so much to Private Internet Access for supporting the channel. Now let's get back to the video. So, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, that match happened. So there's more to it. Brock is insanely big. He got bigger, I think. I swear he did. I love Cena's entrance with the kids coming out with him. I'm a dad, so that was a soft spot for me. I really like that. Cena coming down. This match, really, as I took notes, the number one, I guess the first thing was that Heyman showed up to do the announcing the introductions for Brock Lesnar. That was a fun surprise, and you never know, that could be because, well, we had the tie-in on SmackDown, if they teased something, this was it. Is there anything else that's going to happen? Nobody knows. Brock may go away forever. I like that they just kind of tied these two back together. It added for a good moment. It got the crowd kind of into all of it with Paul Heyman standing there. No reference to it later on, as far as I know. Maybe it's something they roll back to, but it just seemed like a one-off. Brock beats Cena with a bunch of F5s. There were some German suplexes. There was like 3 attitude adjustments in there. This was a Brock Lesnar match. And man, it was not like incredibly quick, but very middle of the road. The Cena Cody match at SummerSlam, I thought was amazing. Like, I thought it was a great match. Even then, when I reviewed it, I was like, this is an awesome match. This was a Brock Lesnar match, and Brock Lesnar won. Maybe they are going to set up a rematch at Crown Jewel. Maybe. That's the only thing I can get from this. Having Brock win doesn't do anything. Cena just kind of waving to the crowd at the very end. That's all there is. It wasn't compelling. It didn't draw you in. It was a bunch of Brock Lesnar spot moves where it's the heavy hitting. Brock Lesnar doing a bunch of clotheslines to John Cena, and it was just kind of there. That's how I took it. Maybe you feel differently. Maybe you thought this was one of their better matches, but I watched it and I kind of blinked, and then it was a bunch of attitude adjustments and then a bunch of F5s, and then it was just over. And I was like, oh, it didn't get to, I think it didn't get to like a second gear. It didn't get to the next level for me, and it felt like that for some of the matches on the show as well. This one, though, to open the show, you had the fanfare of Brock Cena, and that sells a lot, but this thing was nothing to write home about. My one point on maybe this goes to another match, Crown Jewel is next. I could see like nothing else happened during this, no post-match angle, nothing. So it's kind of like, who's John Cena's next opponent at Crown Jewel? My only thinking is that they do number 2 and in this series, and then they ended with John Cena beating Brock Lesnar. They could tell a story of John Cena underestimating Brock, them not having any real confrontations, nothing, just a couple of F5 spots on the shows. It didn't help the build, in my opinion. It might work better now if they go to Crown Jewel and they have one more time. Not that I want to see, I'm advocating at all for I am not Paul Heyman, I am not advocating for a Brock Cena match again. But if they want to be able to get more out of it, now you could tell an more interesting story of John Cena being like, I don't know if I can do this, and you go through a Rocky training montage with Cena. Or not, maybe it's just over. But if it is just over, it's kind of like, then what was the point of this? So I really didn't find this match very entertaining. Brock won, okay. Then you got the Usos versus The Vision. I swear, maybe you disagree. Was the Usos entrance as long as the Brock Cena match? That was so long. So very long. Let's do it for let's show ESPN what we're all about, Us. And then they do the yeeting and the lights, and it just kept going and going and going. It was Jey Uso's entrance on steroids. This thing just took forever. Now we had LA Knight. It was announced earlier. LA Knight was special guest referee. I liked LA Knight in this, go figure. But I liked LA Knight as special ref. Not our first time Mr. LA Knight has been special guest referee. This match had some fun spots in it of like, LA Knight turning his back away as being referee. But then at one point, Jey got bloody like towards the very end. I don't know what the heck happened there. I like the idea that it's kind of just turns into a schmozzy mess because LA Knight is not really paying attention. The sequence that ended everything was going to be the double spear through the table, which didn't really have enough oomph to it. I think where the guys were positioned, they were a little too far apart, but you ended the match with the double spear and that was it. But right before that, you had some odd stuff, and I don't know if this was all just part of it in character or not, but you had LA Knight going for the pins and then the kickouts, and Jey Uso is standing there and he's yelling at LA Knight. And it almost looked like Jey was yelling at him, like, get out there or over there. You were supposed to be over there. Something like a spot was missed. I don't know. Maybe it was all just them just bantering, yelling at each other because they were doing that throughout the match. And I do like that tension of Jey and LA Knight. Like, that's the match now I want to see, is these two guys finally one-on-one. Maybe that's the Crown Jewel match. But I felt like there was some breakdown in there because when the match was over, LA Knight just like 1, 2, 3, spit on the floor and didn't raise anybody's hands and just got out of there. Now, of course, he doesn't want to side with the heels with this, but you'd think that in the position of the referee in the story, he begrudgingly has to be like, I'm going to raise their hands. Also, if LA Knight raised their hands, I think it would add an extra layer to the Jey Uso story with LA Knight of like, hey man, you raise the hands of the bad guys here. What's going on? Paul Heyman raises their hands anyways. So the match overall, though, fine. I think it would have been like just as good as a Raw main event. Was this a giant near fall finisher match where I was on the edge of my seat? No, I thought it was good. I think LA Knight helped, honestly, a lot of this, just because it added an extra dimension to it. If you didn't have LA Knight in there, you got a really standard tag team match, and they essentially made it a no DQ Extreme Rules match with LA Knight in the ring. So I think that it needed that a lot. But yeah, Jey got busted open. There's blood everywhere. So it was fine. It just wasn't a big blow off like I needed it to be, because there's more. I don't know what else you're gonna tell with all 4 of these guys. Like, what's the Vision gonna do now? Are they just gonna keep feuding with Jay and LA Knight? I think now you got to get to LA Knight and Jey Uso, and no swerve at the end, no deception, no question of Jey Uso turning bad, none of it. He didn't shove Jimmy off, he didn't shove LA Knight off. There was nothing that was supporting what Jay's behavior has been week after week right now on Raw, and I think I was also missing that to me. Okay, then you got the third match. You got Io Sky versus Stephanie Vecchia for the vacated World Heavyweight Championship. I thought this was probably match of the night. I thought that this was excellent. It was built very well. I thought it built and built as like the minutes went by for both of them. It was a little clunky at some parts of it, but the heck do I know? I just thought that it was really enjoyable and it built to a really good pace to the very end. There was still too much in this match that I was listening to commentary, and there was still too much of like Michael Cole and Pat McAfee and them putting over ESPN and this wonderful magical deal they have. Like, I get it, it's a big moment for you guys, move on, because it was just a constant commentary stream of ESPN and we love you. The women's match itself, yeah, this was a standout for me. I was surprised Stephanie Vecchia won the world title, and I was surprised they pulled the trigger on Stephanie. I thought they would have gone with Io, more of a tried and true. They know what they're getting with her. Stephanie, they went with something new and fresh. And I say I was kind of surprised because they haven't featured her a lot on TV, like at all throughout this whole build, and the build has been very clunky in my eyes, but I thought this match was just really good, really well put together, good celebration at the end. The finisher, what do they call it? It was like was it a spinal tap or something like that? But moved by Stephanie, the big flip that Stephanie did at the very end. I love that ending sequence. That was awesome. I thought it was great, and it's great to have something fresh. Like, I didn't expect Stephanie to win, so now I'm excited to see what do they do. Io should probably move over to Kabuki Warrior Land and deal with that, maybe with Rhea. But it'd be really cool to have Stephanie come out, cut a promo, do maybe some kind of open challenge. Let's get some fresh challengers in there. Let's get new faces to challenge her, because now you have a clean slate. You have somebody who's very popular. The crowd loves Stephanie Vecchia. Let's build this thing up. Don't give me an Io rematch. Maybe you want to do an Asuka match with Stephanie. I think Rhea and Stephanie Vecchia is kind of an inevitability, but maybe they could even switch up people on brands and freshen up the women's division. I think it was a great move. Really love this match. Okay, CM Punk, AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. The mixed tag team semi-main event. This was fun. The whole thing was just a lot of shenanigans throughout, and the first half of the match really felt like, okay, it was just cutting off CM Punk to get the hot tag to AJ Lee to have the big moment. I love the chemistry between Becky and Seth. I think they're just great as these just obnoxious heels. They're dressed exactly the same. That all worked so well for me. I thought the first half was a little slow of just that constant cutting off Punk to get to AJ Lee. I know that they're trying to build to that spot and that moment. I get it, but it was very long in that regard. She had a bunch of stomps. When AJ finally got in there, she's doing top rope splash. She's doing Black Widows. She's looking good, and she's hitting all the spots and everything. The big moment was coming to the outside when they did the table spot, and they were all setting up to do the double finishers on the tables. And Becky actually pushes AJ Lee into CM Punk, who's on the other table with Seth, and they go through, and the table then like snaps, and then AJ kind of bounces and then lands. You see Punk going over to AJ to make sure she was okay. That was kind of just a little gnarly spot. But it ended with, after that, you had Becky and AJ roll back into the ring, and then Black Widow, AJ, and Punk win. I mean, this match did a lot. It basically turned into a tornado tag team match. It was supposed to be just a regular mixed tag match rules. They set it up like that in the beginning, and then once AJ got involved, like it was legal in the match, it really just turned into tornado tag, which maybe they should have just done in the first place. And you have the table spots. See, here's the thing with WWE rules. It is what it is, but like, they do all these table spots. That's not a disqualification? No, that's fine. Oh, okay. So, and I guess you didn't want to do another like Extreme Rules match because you basically had that in the Vision match also. This was fun. It was a great showing for AJ Lee for her first match back. I like that she really got the shine, and it was less about CM Punk. I like the chemistry that we got between Seth and Becky and all of it. The good guys win, not too much of a surprise, but where do you go from here with AJ Lee? and Punk and Seth and Becky? Do you squeeze a little bit more out of that? To me, you end up going down a singles path. I think now it's like, okay, we had this big moment at Palooza. Let's move AJ Lee on. And maybe she now branches off to fight Becky. Because she made Becky tap, you could go to Crown Jewel and you get the IC title on the line, Becky versus AJ Lee. It's a big marquee match. And then I think there you can even have Becky retain, kind of DQ her way out of it, roll up, win, something like that, and she can retain the belt, or with Seth's help. Because then Punk can actually go and get focused again on Seth one-on-one and going for the world title. I mean, was this like the biggest, best tag team match I've ever seen? No, it was just fun. It was exactly what I expected, and that wasn't a bad thing. Again, I just thought that the first few minutes felt like 5 to almost 10 minutes. Felt like we could have sped that up to get to the tag, and then where everything just turned into a tornado tag match, because then the rest was just fun. And then you had a break in between everything where you had Undertaker hit American Badass. Undertaker comes down, choke slam, tombs a pile driver, everybody. Michelle's not there. She's working on the podcast, apparently. Undertaker comes down, goes around the ring, and goes to Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie's sitting ringside. He does a little fun back and forth with her, and it's announced that Stephanie McMahon is going to be inducted into the 2026 Hall of Fame. So there you go. You got your first inductee. That's very early. I don't know why it is so early. Like, that was really early. Really early. We're not even Survivor Series. That's when they usually start ramping things up for WrestleMania season. A little bit. It's a very early inductee. Kind of feel like maybe it was because it's ESPN. They need something. They got Undertaker on the show. Look, Undertaker was here. Yeah, that's kind of what that felt like. And then your main event. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Solid match. Just good, hard-hitting match back and forth. These two got good chemistry in the ring. It basically just got to the very end where like Drew takes the turnbuckle off, tries to throw Cody through that. He's messing around with the referee. I liked even the beginning when Drew's like touching the belt as the referee's holding it up. Drew just does the little details in the matches that I just enjoy. But once they got to the very end and they got Cody down, Drew goes for the kick and he's gonna go through the announce table. Cody moves this time, so he evades, and then Drew busts up his foot. At the end of the night, it looked like Drew was actually hurt because he had his boot off and he's attending to his foot. Could be just an injury angle, you never know. But they got back into the ring, and then you had a giant Super Cody cutter that followed by the Crossroads, and Cody Rhodes wins. There's zero wrong with this match. Good match. No shenanigans, straight one-on-one, and Cody beat Drew. Wasn't even like a, I don't know, slip on the banana peel thing. You could say the death spot was that for Drew, that it's like, well, he made an error. He went for the death spot and he shouldn't have. Also, if he did hit Cody with it, would that have been a disqualification? Maybe, because the referee's like waving Drew off, like, don't do it. So I wonder if that would have been a DQ and then Drew would have lost anyways. But do you go for another one? Do you go for round 2? There was nothing at the end of this. Cody won, celebrated, and roll credits, and I waited. I was like, okay, is Randy Orton gonna slide into the ring? Is Chris Jericho's music gonna hit? Like, it was what could have happened? And yeah, just Cody retained. That's the end of. So like with Drew, with his character, how does Drew McIntyre get a rematch at all? Drew should now just be back of the line. He has no leg to stand on now to say, hey Cody, I need another match. Zero. Unless they can actually make a real personal story. Do something. Like, have Drew kidnap Brandy or his dog. Have Drew kidnap Pharaoh. Oh, I've got your dog. And he hides him in the truck. Something like that. Or Cody's like, all right, fine, I'll give you your rematch. Do something dastardly that's an actual story and not just, I want a rematch. It's got to be more. But what do you do? I don't know what the next step would be for Cody. Cody beats Drew clean. Does he just go into open challenge mode? Cody, again, it's very much the problem we've had before with Cody in terms of challengers. He's gone through everybody on SmackDown. There's nobody left. He's had John Cena. He's got Drew. He's gone through Kevin Owens in the past. He's gone through everybody. Randy. Like, who is left on the roster at the top that Cody Rhodes could have a legitimate feud with, and we're circling Crown Jewel and then War Games and then Royal Rumble? What the heck is Cody gonna do? My only thought is you're gonna bring in Randy. If you made Randy heel, you got something. Otherwise, you're repeating like SmackDown from the last several weeks. I thought the match was good between Drew and Cody. I was a little bummed out that you didn't get a big surprise, something at the end to get the crowd to go, oh wow, the match was really good, and then this happened. And that was kind of my takeaway from the whole show. I thought it didn't bookend very well. I thought the Cena Brock match was very lackluster. I thought the Cody Drew match was very good. It was good. And there's nothing there. There's nothing wrong with it there. But there was nothing in this whole big Wrestlepalooza, the equivalent of a Rumble, SummerSlam, big event that's going to be happening annually, the big debut on ESPN. Nothing where, no final boss, shrunken final boss. There was nothing there that I thought, wow, that wowed me. There was no story beat, no ending to a match that question marked anything. Like, we didn't tease a Jey Uso heel turn or deception or confrontation, nothing. John Cena's just said bye-bye as Brock won. Cody wins clean. AJ and Punk win clean. The Vision wins dirty clean, but they won. There was nothing in there where I was like, oh, this is all going to lead to something. Stephanie and Io, again, I think that's just match of the night for me right now. And I didn't need a wonk finish or somebody to come out to challenge whoever. Like, I don't always need that. But this show, for as built up as it was, particularly in the last week, for WWE to constantly be pushed, I get it. They're trying to get subscribers for ESPN. I get it. But to try to hype this thing this much, okay, I watched it on Netflix. You might have watched with a VPN. It wasn't what I think they wanted it to be. But what do you think? How was Wrestlepalooza? Did you like it? If you guys want to talk more about WWE topics, I'm going to give you this one right here, because this is just a funny sketch about going into what creative meetings are probably like in WWE. Thanks so much again to Private Internet Access for supporting today's video too. Have a laugh. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you guys can. Have a great day. See ya.